Hello there, everybody. I am Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach. That means it's 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. I'm the founder of the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program, creator of No Hassle newsletters, author of these 6 books, and I'm going to tell you how you can get your hands on them for free, all of them for free. I'll tell you that right at the end of the show. I'm also the host of Dream Business Radio, now in its 10th year. Can you believe that? 10 years. Wow. This is episode 531, and my special guest today is Brian Winch. Brian, how you doing today?
Great. How about yourself, Jim?
I'm doing wonderful. Hey, folks, this episode of Dream Business Radio is brought to you by the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program. If you're an entrepreneur or small business owner who wants to grow a more profitable business faster, and especially if you're interested in creating multiple streams of revenue, something I'm very good at, then you want to be part of this extraordinary. It's a virtual mastermind led by me, Captain Jim Palmer. Learn more at dreambizcoaching.com, dreambizcoaching.com. By the way, my latest ebook is right there for you to see. It is called How Being an Author is an Entrepreneur's Success Advantage. And in this ebook, I detail the exact strategy from when I wrote my first book in 2009, second, third, all the way up. I had a strategy for each one, what was in it, when I launched it, everything coincided with something else. And I reveal that all in this free report. You can get a free copy at getyourbookpublishedfast.com. Getyourbookpublishedfast.com. And I'll bring that back up again at the end of the show. Anyway, let me introduce Brian. You're going to find this very inspirational. I bet you're going to go at some point, you're going to go, boy, why didn't I think of that? Brian Winch. He hails to us from Alberta, by the way. He is the creator and author of Cleanlots, America's simplest business. Brian grew his simple parking lot litter cleanup service in 1981. Wow, that is 42 years ago, if I'm any judge of math. And he grew from a side hustle into a 6-figure business for the last 40 years. He can teach you how to start and operate a green business based from your home and making money from a service that's almost as easy as going for a walk. Brian, once again, welcome to Dream Business Radio.
Thanks, Jim.
You know what? It was very interesting. So I get pitched a lot. In fact, I had about 100 in the last 60 days. I had 140 people or so apply to be on my podcast, which is weekly. I'm booked now through August. And I saw your information come across, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm like, I don't know. And then I said, hey, can we get together? I got to ask you a couple of questions. I'm thinking of having you as a guest. And I was just like, it's you don't have to be an Elon Musk to make a living. You created a business out of cleaning parking lots. Anyway, so I was very intrigued with your story, and I appreciate you coming on. You took a very simple idea and you turned it into a business, which is amazing. Give us a little bit more of your background, how you came up with the idea, how you started, and then I'm always interested, Brian, at the beginning of these interviews, if you had any role models for being an entrepreneur, parents, grandparents. If anybody showed you the way other than going to college, getting a piece of paper, and then getting a W-2 form, Well,
Right.
anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'll be the first to admit, my business isn't sexy. It's not glamorous, but you know what? Fortunes are made by those willing to clean up after others, as
There
the
you go.
expression goes. So, I was 21 years old back in 1981. I was working a dead end job as a shipper receiver, and I realized I'd probably be stuck here the rest of my life. I didn't have a college education. I barely graduated high school, didn't have a lot of money in the bank or many skills. But so I started looking around, what could I do? And I guess the best example for me growing up were my parents, my mom and my dad. They were, I guess, the original side hustlers, except back in the day it was called moonlighting. But
That's
my
right.
dad,
Yes.
yeah, my or spare time income or whatever the case is. But my dad was a caretaker. That's
Mm-hmm.
what he did for a full-time job. But he needed to supplement the family income. My mom stayed home and raised my brothers and I. And so he did things like cut grass in the summer, shovel snow in the winter, but he also cleared or cleaned up litter for a neighborhood parking lot just a couple blocks away from our house at the time. And he had taken me along with him a couple of times when I was about 12 or 13. just to help him out early in the morning before the stores opened and before he
Mm-hmm.
went to work, before I had to go to school. And I remember how easy it was to do this. I couldn't believe he got paid to do this. He had a contract to maintain the property litter free, so he would go there every morning and walk around the sidewalks, the parking lot, the surrounding landscape, and with these simple hand tools, only a matter of minutes, we would clean up the property and be done. And I thought, wow, that was a great way to make some extra money. So with that memory, when I was 21, I thought, well, let's see if there's a full-time business in that. I could turn this into a full-time business. Unfortunately, just before I started in the fall, he passed away unexpectedly at the
Oh,
age of 61.
wow, that's
So
young.
yeah, and so I didn't have his experience. I just had the memory of helping him out, when a few years earlier when I was a kid. But I pressed on. I was more determined than ever to see this through.
Did you
And I
take
mean,
over all his accounts, Brian? Or
no, he just had the one, and
okay.
but I remember he was dealing with a property management company.
Mm-hmm.
That's who our clients are. So anyhow, I pressed forward, and within a few weeks, probably 6, 7 weeks, I was making more money cleaning parking lots part time than I was for my full time job. And I was surprised. That's what I wanted. I wanted to work for myself. So, quit my job, and a few more months, I scaled the business up to a successful one man operation, which was myself. I was just doing over $100,000 a year
Oh
cleaning
my
parking lots.
gosh. Now
Yeah.
I got to ask you. I got to interrupt you. So I'm picturing in my head. Are you walking around with like one of those sticks with the claws? Are you just bending over with a glove, or do you have one of those big blowers? Like, what's involved, and how big are the parking lots?
Well, that's a great question, because there's all sorts of different tools for different uses. That little grabber tool is good for reaching inside bushes to
Mm.
pull out objects that may be thorny bushes you don't want to stick your hand into. But we use a simple tool called a litter licker, and it's big enough that you can sweep an item as a pizza box into, and service a whole property before you have to empty the contents of it into a dumpster on site.
Okay.
And so it's just simple hand tools, and that tool actually makes the work, like I say, as easy to do as going for a walk. It just takes a few more minutes than it takes to walk the property, and bang, you're off to the next building.
So, did most of the places have dumpsters or places, or did you have to cart the stuff home in big trash bags?
No, every shopping center that we clean has an on-site dumpster, or two or three, depending on the size of the property. But yeah, we clean everything in any type of commercial property, from a strip plaza or like a retail plaza to office, industrial, and even some standalone properties like grocery stores, or Home Depots, Lowe's, Walmart, supercenters. So yeah, it depends on the size of the property, as to how long it's going to take you to service it.
So you grew this business, which is basically cleaning up parking lots of litter, to six figures. You're what, 21, 22 years old? That's a hell of a lot of money when you're 22 at any year, right?
It,
I
wa-
mean,
it, it
that's like
was
that's
yeah.
almost 20, that's $2,100 a month.
Yeah, yeah, and because there's a demand for it, and our business model, we don't like. There's so many other companies out there that might be doing the same service we are. Could be landscape contractors, could be large cleaning companies, but the problem with them is they all uh, offer every service under the moon. And I have a saying, I'd rather be seen as the expert, the go-to person, than the jack of all trades and master of none.
Yeah. By the way, I think I demonstrated my why I didn't do well in math. That's $2,000 a week, not a month. It's about 8 grand a month. Somebody goes 2,000 a month. That's nothing to get excited about, but 8 grand a month is. How many parking lots was that, Brian, to generate six figures in income?
Roughly about 21, 23
Okay,
back then. Right now we have a whole army of people that go around the city cleaning up properties for us, and we right now we're billing out just over $700,000 a year, and that's
good
all we do.
God.
We don't haul junk away. We don't cut grass. We don't clear snow. We're not a janitorial service. All we do is clean up litter, outside commercial properties for property management companies.
And your company's billing $700,000 a year.
Yep. And so
That's
that's
wow.
roughly about 150 properties.
And do you so you're in Alberta, Canada. Do you live in a city? I mean, if you live in a town, I'm guessing there's not many parking lots. So do you have to be in like an urban area?
Yeah, the bigger the city, the more money you can make, obviously. But my city is about 1.3 million.
Okay.
It wasn't when I started out. I mean, when I started out in '81, the population was probably about a half a million, or sorry, yeah, half a million, pretty much around there. So the city's grown quite a bit during those years. But this business works anywhere where there would be commercial properties, and some smaller cities are kind of like a destination or like a shopping attraction for communities, maybe rural communities, all spread all around it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to go into town to a Walmart, or a Home Depot or something like that, smaller cities obviously will work, because there's a need to clean those properties.
Is there such a thing as competition for you? I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
there is. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, there are large landscape contractors that will do
Mm-hmm.
it. There are, like, large cleaning companies that will try to do it as well. But the problems with that, oftentimes, is they try to do it during the same hours that their other services are being performed. And if you can
Ah.
imagine, this service has to be performed after hours, where you can clearly see and clean all the material without vehicle interference. So,
So
in other
so
words,
that's
you
a
don't
lot
want to be
like
showing up.
commercial. Yeah, I'm sorry, Brian. That's a lot like commercial cleaners, right? They have to clean office buildings at night when nobody's there.
Exactly. But landscapers, sometimes will try to do it after or before they've cut the grass. And
Mhm.
that might work out well on the landscaping, but as soon as they venture into a parking lot, it's hit and miss, because oftentimes the vehicles are parked on top of the same, the very material that they're supposed to see and up.
Yeah. So your competition is mostly landscapers. There's nobody doing another version of clean lots where they say we'll come at night too and we'll undercut Brian's
Oh yeah.
from
Yeah,
the.
I mean, I've been around long enough, for over 40 years. I mean, I'm sure there's been, copycats, etc. What makes our business model, and for any person's business model, successful over the years, is you have to provide additional value. You have to do more than what you say you're going to do. And the way we
Yeah.
do that is, when our crew are out there cleaning, if we notice some fresh graffiti, or a stop sign's been communicate that to our clients, the next morning, to make the jobs easier. And they appreciate the feedback that they get from us, rather than finding out from some tenants that, hey, somebody sprayed graffiti on my window. When are you going to send somebody out here to clean it up for me?
Ah. So you're doing other services now in addition to just cleaning the parking lots.
Well, I mean, we're just communicating with our customers, and it doesn't
Mhm.
take us or cost us any extra money, or that much time to do that. Actually, it's pretty simple, and like, it's great for building and maintaining customers. When you can provide that extra value.
So I know you have a book because I saw that on your website and on Amazon, Clean Lots, America's Simplest Business. And it's been your goal. I don't know, for a couple of years, or you correct me. When did you decided to start sharing this or teaching it to others? You're not going to franchise per se, but
No.
when did that whole thinking come about?
Well, actually, the idea came to me about 5 years after starting the business. I thought, well, this would be a great opportunity for other people that, like me, didn't have a lot of money. Maybe they just graduated high school. They're looking for their first business, something simple to get into, and provide a service that's recession proof, pandemic proof. I mean, people litter, they always have, they always will. So there's always going to be a need for the service to be provided. So, a little little manual or booklet was the first edition that came out, years ago. And then over
Okay.
time, I kept building to it and adding more content as I gained more experience. So, the latest edition now was revised a year or so ago, and it's completely up to date.
Interesting. So, in the table of contents, you cover operations, you cover personnel, and marketing. I love marketing, but before we go there, what's the personnel situation like? You have to find people, obviously, that will work at night. It's not. I'm guessing it's not full time. Like, how many hours a day or a night do people do this?
Well, rather than night, a lot of people think of night as around midnight or 10 o'clock in the evening. Whereas it's best if our service is provided early in the early morning. So for all those early risers out there that are up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, anyhow, that's the best time to get out and service the properties.
Yep.
We have people that do this for us part time, and we actually have people that work for us full time. But we don't employ people, or hire them. We find it's best that we contract or subcontract the work out. There are lots of little, cleaning companies out there that want to clean, whether it be inside, outside, but maybe they're not best at marketing their services or their business, and so they're just simply looking for cleaning contracts. And
Nice.
it's worked out really well for everybody involved.
Okay. So that's interesting about the personnel. Now, what about the marketing? I mean, it seems to me that's probably pretty straightforward and simple. Do you use postcards? Do you direct mail? Are you just knocking on doors? Well, knocking on parking lots. I guess there's offices, right? How do you get
Yeah.
your clients?
Well, back in the day before the internet, we used to take a display ad out in the telephone, the Yellow Pages telephone directory. We haven't had an ad in that for years, but so it's best to cold call, or compile your own email list. I mean, you can always rent one, but oftentimes it's not worth the paper it's printed on because it's out of date. Property managers are constantly moving around, so I reckon, and I still to this day do a lot of cold calling, or warm calling, as I call it, where
Mm,
you do a search online for property management companies in your city, and then you contact them with the sole purpose of finding out who the decision maker is.
right.
Who do I talk to concerning litter pick or litter control at your business, and then once you make contact, you briefly introduce yourself and you sell the benefits of your service. I can give you cleaner, litter-free properties for less money. I'd like to share how I can do that, and it starts the communication. But other ways I tell people to start out is grab your Google business profile. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, and it acts
Yeah.
like a mini website. Get on LinkedIn because that's where property managers and property management companies are. They're going to be on LinkedIn. And once you have a profile and then also a company page, it's a great way to develop leads and build trust.
Nice compliment from Jeff Herring. Somebody's in my coaching program. He's got this thing called Content Profit Nation. He teaches people how to put up content that turns into new business. I should probably introduce to him, but right now I'm doing a show, so I'm gonna make sure I get you his contact information before you and I go. So, what kind of properties is it? All I mean, when you drive through the city, there's parking lots. There's what about multi tiered parking lots? Do you do those as well?
Not really. I mean, the
Okay.
parking garages, I mean, in some cases, they are part of maybe an office building that we would do. When I'm talking office buildings, I'm talking like maybe 2, 3, 4 story buildings that are maybe largely medical related, doctors' offices, maybe
Oh,
engineering,
okay.
law firms. And then they may have an underground parking garage, maybe 1 or 2, 3 levels. So that would be included in the service. But any type of commercial property, with the exception of the large shopping malls. So we don't do high, skyscrapers or the office buildings downtown. So most of them are or small to medium size in nature.
Yeah, I would think those gigantic parking lots at malls, they probably have their own crew with their giant sweeper trucks, vacuum trucks.
Yeah, Yeah, and they supplement that too with an on-foot service because there's the sweeper trucks can only clean where they can maneuver. So
Right.
oftentimes you need the other equipment like the backpack blowers or handheld blowers to blow that material into the pathway, or the other types of tools. But yeah, I mean, a good example of a property would be maybe a retail strip plaza where you've got 5, 10, 15 businesses in it. And there's actually way more of those small to medium sized commercial properties than there are the big town centers or the indoor shopping malls.
Interesting. I had a client about 4 years ago, Chris Phillips. Actually, he started, um, I think in Ohio. He started a window cleaning business. So a bucket, squeegee, and or in a brush or whatever, sponge, I guess. And he grew that into a huge business. And then he started a coaching business to help others, grow past their initial thing. Very similar, I would think. The initial startup cost is probably pretty low. So if somebody did want to get into this business, I'm afraid to ask the initial cost of supplies. Is it $20
Oh,
or is it?
you know what? Yeah, I mean, you can base your business from your home. There's no advantage to having an office or anything. You can use whatever vehicle you presently have, so just as long as it's reliable and get you from job site to job site. And yeah, tools. I mean, literally under $100.
When you go in at night, are the parking lots lit up or do they turn them off to save electricity, or do you bring your own lights, or how's that work?
They're all lit up. They have to be as a matter of security.
Okay.
I mean, if they're, and in every city, and sometimes, some business or management company might think it's a good idea to shut the lights off at night. That doesn't last very long because as soon as the lights are shut off, you attract an element you don't want on your property
Yes, that's
after
right.
hours.
Okay.
So everything is very well lit. You can clearly see and clean. But some people, if they want to, I mean, they supplement that with maybe a head lantern or a body lantern, similar, or you wear it around your belt,
Hmm.
midsection. So wherever you're walking and turning, that light is pointing, into the direction where you want it to go. But um, you know, having said that, I've been doing this for over 40 years, and I've never had to wear any extra lighting on myself. There's plenty of lighting to see.
You probably haven't been out at night cleaning parking lots in quite a while, I would think. Or are
Oh,
you?
no, no, I still do it. I scaled back my hours. I don't, work as many hours as I used to, but I enjoy the early morning peace and solitude of getting out there.
Wow.
Most of the city is still sleeping, and it's great exercise, and I'm making money doing it. I probably put about 3 or 4, well, probably closer to 3 hours in now, each
Is there a
morning, five
safety
days a week.
factor? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
Is there a safety factor? No?
no, not at like 5, 6, 7 in the morning. Now, you know what?
Okay.
Let me back up. There's always some parts of town, in certain cities that you don't want to be. So, but that you have the luxury of being in this business or any business to take, accept, or turn down work. So, it's the same thing goes for us. I mean, we've had some properties where we've serviced, and for whatever reason, maybe our workers feel that they're not safe, or you just simply can't win because there's too many vagrants hanging around,
Yeah.
leaving a mess. And we just say, look, we're not interested in doing this property for you anymore, for these reasons. And they completely understand that. And then maybe what they'll end up doing is having one of their own building operators come by and clean the property during the day. But
Hmm.
by and large, I mean, in 40 some years, you just have to use common sense. If someone has ever approached me, or still does to this day, asking for money, I simply tell them I don't carry a wallet. I don't carry cash. I've been robbed too many times before. I've never been robbed, but they go away. But if you
Yeah.
do something foolish, like you're thinking you're going to help some panhandler out, you pull that wallet out. As soon as you look away, they've grabbed it. They're gone.
Yeah. What's turnover like? I mean, it's labor. Well, up in where you live in Canada, is labor this? There's an awful lack of workers to do this kind of work, I believe, and there's a lot of
Well,
turnover with service-based businesses.
no, you know what? Not with our business. We've had
Okay.
some of the same people for 20, 30 years. I mean, you just hire the right people. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of small cleaners out there that are looking for contracts, and they want more business from you. I mean, so we're not looking at hiring somebody who is thinking that they can take advantage of the situation and think, well, you know what, who's going to know if I've been out there to clean up? I suppose that can happen, but if you find the right people, they're going to work with you. They're happy doing the work. They're enjoying making this extra money before they go to their full-time job or whatever the case be, whether they're part-time or full-time.
So you've been doing this for like 40 years. So you probably got a pretty good handle on who your average worker is. Is it somebody that's just starting out in, teens or 20s can't figure out? Or is it like middle age or people that are on the other end that don't mind getting up and putting 3 hours
Yeah.
in, in the wee
You know,
hours?
everyone is motivated for different reasons to take on a side hustle and do some work on the side. Like I mentioned before, we've got people that are maybe semi-retired. They're
Hmm.
looking at supplementing their income, and they're up in the morning anyhow, and they may as well make some money going for a walk, and that works out really well for them. We've had some people that were one fellow in particular was a mailman, and so he would get up and do this, and he still works for us. I mean,
Oh my
it's been about
goodness.
15, 20 years. But he's used to walking, going, delivering the mail. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, he does this now. He used to do it during, 7 days a week for us, but now he just works weekends for us. Yeah, I mean, anyone who enjoys going for a walk, getting fresh air in the morning. Those are the type of people that I guess are attracted to this type of side hustle or work.
My final question, there's a term, I don't know who invented it, called entrepreneurs, people who would like to be an entrepreneur, but either don't know what to do or how to start. As you said, this is America's most simple business or simplest business. What would you say? I know again, you have a program where you can teach people how to do it, but what do you say to entrepreneurs who like think it's too difficult to create a six-figure or a multi six-figure business?
Well, there's a process. I mean, you can't skip ahead. You can't skip ahead steps. And the great thing I'll say about my book is I lay it all out, and this is step number one, and you follow the
Okay.
process, and don't get intimidated or overwhelmed. Look, there's like steps involved here. I can't do that. You know what? If I can do it, anyone can do it. But you just follow the process, and I offer free coaching. So if you're stuck, you can just pick up the phone or you can send me an email, and I'm willing to help you along.
Very nice. So, Brian, how can people connect with you?
Well, the best way is through my website at cleanlots.com. And there's all sorts of information there. There's a free report you can download if you're considering this opportunity. There's a 3-minute video that shows me actually walking a property and servicing it and cleaning, so you can get a feel, understanding of what work is involved and how it's done. And yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of articles. I've been in the media and various podcasts. Check it out, and I'd be happy to help you.
That's awesome, Brian. Thanks so much. I knew this would be a fun interview. Just bringing the other side of how business is difficult or could be difficult, and you've really found it's pretty incredible niche, and you've made a hell of a nice living doing it. Thank you so much for coming on Dream Business Radio.
Thanks, Jim. It's definitely been my dream business.
Hey, folks, that wraps up this very special interview with my guest, Brian Winch, the creator of Cleanlots. You can connect with me at getjimpalmer.com if you're interested in joining about 27 other smart entrepreneurs in my virtual Dream Business Mastermind. Go to dreambizcoaching.com. And by the way, don't forget, you can get a free copy of my new ebook, How Being an Author is Going to Be Your Entrepreneur Advantage. Again, it details my journey from my first book in 2009 through the 6 books, and then I think about a dozen ebooks that I've written, how you want to do it, why you want to do it. Download a free copy at getyourbookpublishedfast.com. And as far as these books, what I call the real books, part of my legacy building program, now 2 years in its making, I made them all for free. So you can download the Kindle versions at Amazon, the Nook version at Barnes and Noble, and they're also in the iBook store. But that's it until this time next week. Another fantastic interview. I am Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach, and you take good care.